All right, let's start with maybe the logs. Solve the following equations. So question 2i. What I might do, I think it's just going to be a bit easier for me. I might take a snapshot of this. We'll do all 5 of them. Just paste it here. Okay. All right. Solve the following equations. 2i. 2 ln x equals ln 4x plus 5. Hey, how are you? 2 ln x equals log 4x plus 5. Okay, what's our first step for a question like this? Yeah, because you want to make sure you only have a monic log with a monic log. So no numbers in front, bring the 2 up. I like it. Now you've got log, someone's been studying, exponential then. E and log cancels out, E and log cancels out. You're left with x squared equals 4x plus 5. Now before I continue, before we do that, can you tell me a problem that I'm eventually going to need to watch out for? What's a problem you guys got to be aware of that you need to watch out for when you're solving logs? If you don't know that, that means you might miss it still. There should be a problem every time you're solving logs that you got to watch out for. Anyone? You cannot log a number that is 0 or negative. So it's all great. It's all great. I mean, Tiana, you said just bring it over to one side. Absolutely, why not? And start solving. I agree. The problem is you might get an answer there that isn't a solution. So you've got to cross it out. And the only way you'll know that is you can't log a 0 or a negative number. So 0 as well. So it's got to be greater than 0. Specifically, it can't be equal to 0. Sounds good? So we continue now. X minus 5, x plus 1 equals to 0, x equals 5, x equals minus 1. Just because it's minus 1, it doesn't mean it's wrong. When you sub it back in, it has to be wrong. So, let me just make that clear. If I sub in negative 1 into here, log of a negative is not allowed. That's wrong. Sub in 5, that works. 4 times 5 plus 5 also works. The answer is this. Now, sometimes both answers are not correct. So you have to say, no solution. So don't just think because it's a positive 5, it's right. Because if I change this into x take away 7, and let's say we had an answer of 5. If I sub in 5 in here, what happens? What's 5 take away 7? Negative 2. Are you allowed to log a negative 2? No, so 5 actually won't work either. You see? So you can't just always think, oh, I've got a negative answer, it's wrong. Sometimes your positive answer is wrong and your negative answer is right. Because if yeah, okay, I'll pause there. Any questions?
Sometimes it could be a range.
I think in their grade, I don't think so. Advanced. Yep. Solving logs. Must watch out for logging a negative. Because you can't log a negative. That's it. With exponential equations, you won't have that problem. With logs, you will have that problem. Keep that in mind. Let's try double I. What do we do with this one? Too easy. Turn it into a division. Log x plus 3 on x minus 1 equals log 3. Again, have a look. It looks exactly the same as the line you would have had here with your logs and logs. So how do I get rid of the logs? you would exponential it now. So after you use your log laws by dividing, you're left with x plus 3 on x minus 1 equals to 3, and that is nice and easy to solve. Can someone get me the final answer, please? X equals 3? I think so. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 on 2 is 3. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And test. Oh, be careful. If you guys think you can just accept an answer, you might go wrong in your exam. So test. If I test it in here, 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 take away 1 is 2. We can log both positive numbers. Test x equals 3. It's not a problem. We're happy. Any questions regarding that question, that one there that we just did? Anyone not sure of any lines? All right. Looking good. Okay. What about this time? What would you do with log x plus 1 minus log x minus 1? They have the same subbases. What do you mean by they're exactly the same? So you can tell me what your next line is if it's easier. Yeah, I like that. I like you guys knowing that if we've got a subbase here of 3, we can convert our logs to a fraction. Now, specifically because these two are the same, I can actually combine them as well. So what I'm going to do is write this. Log x plus 1 on x minus 1, because it's subtracted, so we divide our logs, and then that's still going to be the same subbase of 3 equals 2. Then, because of that subbase of 3, which is really annoying, because I can't do anything with that, we know that there's a formula that goes log b subbase a becomes ln b on ln a. So this becomes ln x plus 1 on x minus 1 on ln 3, which equals to 2. We agree with that? Ooh, 50-50? What's up?
I get why.
You wouldn't have done that?
No, I remember I wrote it 5 times both sides by 3.
Yeah, no. You're going to times both sides by log 3, but definitely not by 3. All right, I'll pause there. Again, any questions?
Can't you on the first in the first line, can't you just times the log 3 by 3? And
By
then
3? Is that what you just said?
That's right.
That's
yeah,
really,
like
you just taught that?
Yeah,
3 at the start, and then the 2 that equals 2 becomes a power to 3.
Hold on. The equals to becomes 2 to the power of 3. You mean becomes 3 to the power of 2, but you, still have, but you should still have a log on the right hand side. Right? It's not 3 squared only. There should be a log. Let me just say this. The way you're doing it maybe, how can I say this? You're doing it in a way that could work for 50% of the questions. Unfortunately, I don't teach that way.
Yeah.
So the other 50% I'm worried about. So no, I'm just going to say no. We're not going to do it that way. If that's the way you've been taught, it's not the way I taught you. So that's what we've got to do. Bring your log 3 over. Then you're going to have a power of 2. Then we would exponential both sides. And then obviously you're left with x plus 1 on x minus 1 equals to 9. And then solve. Again, someone give me an answer for that one, please. Yeah, Eden, the way you're doing it, you're gonna struggle. Fantasy Town, you're gonna struggle in year 12 because in year 12 you won't say equals to 2. It might be a log with a tree. It might be a log with an actual exponential, not with a number 2. So that method, unfortunately, cannot. It's not sustainable for us. 5 on 4. We're happy with that? Anyone got something different? I can see a 10 on 8, which becomes 5 on 4. So I'm pretty happy with that as well. Cool. All right. Let's try another one. IV. All right. Again, have a read of it. What would you do with IV? 2 log 7 4. Okay, I can tell you something as a trick that helps with this question. If they're all going to be sub-bases of 7, 7, 7, 7, all of them, aren't they all going to have a fraction of log 7? So aren't they all technically just going to cancel each other out? And you can do that. Just makes it a little bit neater to read. So that becomes 2 log 4 equals half log x plus log 2. Your 7s can all cancel out. Why couldn't I do that for the question above? Let's just recap. Yeah, this has a 3, this has a 3. Your right hand side doesn't have a log 3. This one, all of them are 7s. If they weren't all 7s, you still can't cross out. You just have to do it through fractions. Okay, at this stage, we know that what we want. We want a log equal to a log. So we're going to bring this 2 up. That's going to look like this. These two, again, to be able to combine them, they need to both have the same number in front of them. Because this has a half, that has a 1. So I have to also bring the half up. No, like that. Then, because they're added, I can multiply them. Only at this time can you multiply. Okay? So you can't do it if the if one's like a half and the other one's a 1. You can't actually add them. Okay, at this stage, you exponential, you're left with 16 equals 2 root x. 16 on 2 is 8. X equals 64. Sounds good? Yeah, I'm happy with that. Anyone have any questions at home?
I don't think we understand how they happen to the spiritual.
Beautiful, even better. That doesn't matter, that's your mark now. All right, let's do V, last one. Again, what's the first thing you realize? They're all base E, but log E is ln anyways. So yes, they cancel out, but specifically log E is ln. So again, for V, you're just going to write it as 2 ln x plus 2 equals ln 2x plus 1. Again, this is plus with log 8 minus x. I'm going to save myself a line. What do you do when you add your logs? So 2x plus 1 times 8 take away x. All right, I'll leave it there. Let you guys work on it for a minute. Remember, you got to bring the 2 up and then cross out your logs, expand, bring everything to one side. Good luck. All right, my turn. I'm going to bring the 2 up. (16x minus 2x squared plus 8 minus x). Cross out my logs. X squared plus 4x plus 4 equals negative 2x squared. 16 take away 1 is 15 plus 8. Bring everything to one side. 3x squared. 4 take away 15 is negative 11. 4 take away 8 is negative 4. Then we factorize. Negative 12 plus 1 is negative 11. So we get 3x plus 1 and x take away 4. Therefore, x equals to negative 1/3 and x equals to 4. What are we going to do? Which I haven't been doing because I know all the other answers were right. Testing. X equals negative 1/3. If I sub it into the original, I can see it working there. I can negative 2/3 plus 1. I can actually see it working there and it works there. So negative 1/3 works. 4. 4 definitely works, and both of them are correct. See that one there? Both answers are actually right. You don't cross out the negative number. Any questions? We're happy with log equations?
Yeah.
Good work. Let's go to trig. Solving trig. No, sorry, not solving. You said identities. So you're proving. The first one you want to know, I guess your basics. Oh, I can just do it on this. Okay. Determine the exact value of tan 330. What do we do? How do we find the exact value of tan 330 degrees? What do we do? Calculator. So go, give me the answer. What is it? What's the answer? That's not exact.
It's squared, it's equal to negative, and then something else after that.
Tan 330. Anyone know the answer?
The 135. Not that.
It gave me negative.
Square root of 3.
Negative. It's not pi. What did you say again, Eden?
1 over square root of 3.
Yes, absolutely. So 0.577, if you guys have forgotten it, you need to, the trick was we square it, press squared, look at it, it should say 1 over 3, then you mentally square root it, mentally, that means in your head. So what's the square root of 1 on 3? 1 on root 3, but you have to remember it was still negative, so the answer is negative 1 on root 3. Go do the other ones, and then I'll write my answer. Okay, sine 225. Sine 225. Negative 1 on root 2. Sine negative 210. Straight half. That's already exact. You don't need to square it. cos 570, negative root 3 on 2. Careful. All right. Any questions about that? Next one. Example 23. If tan theta is 3/4 and cos theta is less than 0, find the values of sine and cot. Does anyone remember what you're meant to do? Given one trig, and you've got to find another trig. Draw the triangle. Good work. That's it. So there's your theta. Opposite over adjacent. 3, 4. Obviously this is a 3, 4, 5 triangle. So that can be 5, or you can work it out using Pythag. Okay, it says find sine and cot. Well, isn't sine easy? Opposite over hypotenuse. And what would cot theta be without even the triangle? 1 over tan. So tan is 3 over 4. So what? 4 on 3. Then we stop. So this is the strategy. You do the triangle. You draw your trigs. You stop. What do you do now? You said it before. No. What are you meant to do now? All stations to central. Now you do this. And what it's telling you is cos is negative. If cos is negative, now you know it's either here or here. Correct? And then you also know that tan is positive or negative? Positive. So if you know tan is positive, you definitely now know it's right there, which means these two are positive and the other two are. So the answer for sine theta is negative 3 over 5, and cot theta is just positive 4 over 3. Because it's 1 over 10, and 10 is positive. Red 10. Hmm? Okay. Given one trig, you've got to find another trig, triangle, and then all stations to central. Write down your notes if you need to. Or, as Tiana just said, rewatch the video, and it should be all good. Example 24. You guys want to try it yourself for a second? I'll give you a clue just so you can start off. 1.2, obviously don't use it. Plug it into your calculator, it gives you 6 over 5. That's the one you need. So tan theta equals negative 6 over 5. Draw your triangle, all stations to central. Eventually find these 3. Forget this. This is something that you're going to use in all stations to central. That's what it's there for. So just draw your triangle, get your cot sec and cosec out, and we'll see how we go. So we get our triangle out. That's a right angle, there's your theta. Opposite over adjacent, opposite over adjacent, then 5 squared plus 6 squared, square root of that, the square root of 61. Good. And then from there you should be able to get sec, cosec, and, well, I'll get you guys sine, cos. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cos is adjacent over hypotenuse. So therefore, sec would be reciprocal of that. So flip that. And obviously cosec would be reciprocal of this. So far so good. And then obviously we know cot theta is the reciprocal of 6 over 5, which would be negative 5 over 6. That's all right. Okay. And then, what do we say we have to do? That's when you start using this, and the fact that tan is negative. So, all stations to central. All stations to central. Let's try it again. All right. It's telling you tan is negative. Well, that's great. That means this guy's negative. We know all is positive. That's fine as well. We've got S and C. It's saying that your theta is between 270 and 360. Where is that? It's in cos. It's right here, 270 to 360. So it's positive here, which means sine is negative. And you're done. Just go and fix them up. Cosec, because it comes from sine, it is negative. Sec comes from cos, it is positive. Cot, negative. Done. That's gonna be the answer. So negative root 61 on 6, root 61 on 5, and the other one is negative 5 on 6. Any questions there? Okay. If it's making you guys realize you got to do a little bit of work, so be it. Go back to trig. This would have been, I think, us in end of term 1. Boundary angles, proving trig. All right, here we are. You have to sit next to each other? All right. Yes. Cos squared plus sine squared equals to 1. Memorized by now? Cos squared theta plus sine squared theta equals to 1. Then from there, you should know by now that sine squared theta equals 1 minus cos squared. Thank you. And cos squared, cos is 1 minus. Something that I think you guys need to know now, that we're this close to your prelims, is this is also a difference of 2 squares. It's just hidden. So you've got to be ready for that. 1 minus cos squared is also 1 minus cos multiplied by 1 plus cos. You should be able to see it like that. It's not something you need to memorize, it's just something you've got to be aware of. The difference of 2 squares. Okay, from that, there's these other 2 proofs that I've never used before. If I haven't used it, why do you guys want to memorize it? Cool. So we don't use it, we do it the long way, but at least that way it's a bit less memorizing for you. If you do memorize it, good on you. Okay, let's start. Do the first 2, and this one. If you feel like you need me, just let me know. I'll start it up. And send the link to details. You have it? No. This works. Okay. You on? Good. Alright, good. It's advanced. Do it. 10, 4, try it out. Anyone stuck? Anyone need a formula? Talk to me. Let me just see who's also in. Yeah, no. Aiden, Aiden's fine. Chan should be in. Martin, no, these guys are okay. Brad should have been in. And Chan. The others are from the Saturday class. I haven't taken them out. Okay, have we got an answer yet for the first one? What do we have? So sine cot theta is 1 on tan, but it's also cos on sine. And then what happens to my two sines? Cancel out, you've got cos theta. All right, again, cot theta is cos theta on sine theta multiplied by, what's 1 minus sine squared? Cos squared, so that becomes the square root of cos squared theta. Cross out, cross out. Ooh,
And would you take that over 1?
that's over 1, so cos times cos.
Cos squared theta on sine theta.
Done.
Then times the
Done, 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 that's it. Who said you have to change that to 1 minus sine squared? That's simplified, that's done. If it was a proof question, instead change it to like 1 minus sine, do it. But now that we're here, let me show you what they could have asked you to show. They could have said that, that's nice and easy. They could have also made it look like this. So they could have said, show this. So you have to do an extra line. They could have also made you do this. Common denominators. What's 1 on sine? 1 on sine is cosec. What happens to sine squared and sine? See? How all three are the same, and they could have said whatever they wanted. You guys can't look at that and go, oh, what am I meant to do? You got to realize you're here, just do a little bit more work. These are all in terms of sines. So change your cos to 1 minus sine squared, and then split up the denominator. Maybe something advanced kids are not so used to, but extension kids are. But you have to get used to that, splitting up the denominator. Very important skill. Split up the denominator, and then 1 on sine is cosec, sine squared on sine, cancel out, you're left with sine. And that's pretty much as far as you can go. You can't go further than that. All right. Again, any questions? Example 26. For those who have done it, great. Do A, then try B. It's a prove. How do we start proof questions? LHS or RHS, it doesn't matter. Start with one side. So start with the left-hand side and 3 cos squared, let's just make them theta, so it's easier. 3 cos squared theta minus 2. And then again, what are you going to change? To prove it becomes 1 minus 3 sine squared.
cos squared. You need to take the two out the side.
You only got one side, you're only dealing with the left-hand side. Try again. Don't overkill it. Cos squared. Change. The first thing your eye should be seeing is the fact that your left-hand side is cos squared, your right-hand side is sine squared. So you've got to change cos squared to 1 minus sine squared theta. All right, try that. Hopefully it works out. You staying back till 8? Did it work out? Try B. Don't wait for me. I'm waiting for you. I don't know. Just look at your work. If you can't see it, start it again. Believe me. Cross it out. Start again. All right, I'll do question 26a. Cos squared is 1 minus sine squared. So replace cos squared for 1 minus sine squared. Take away 2, expand. 3 minus 3 sine squared. Take away 2. 3 take away 2 is 1 minus 3 sine squared theta, which is exactly our right-hand side. Easy? The link to you. Give me a second. Share link. Copy to clipboard. Is it working?
Yep.
All right. Any questions from A? No. B. Got it out? Let's start B. Left-hand side equals. Can someone tell me the first line, except Rosemary? What would you do after this line? 1 on sine squared plus 1 on cos squared. Yeah, I see what you're saying. But the problem is, so if you change 1 on sine squared to, because 1 on sine is cosec, if you change 1 on sine squared to cosec squared plus sec squared, it's great, you're very close, except there's no plus here. So, no, cannot work. The fact that it's got no plus sign here should give you a clue of what you need to do with your left-hand side. Cross multiply, common denominators, whatever you're used to by now. So cos squared times 1, sine squared times 1, on sine squared cos squared. What's cos squared plus sine squared equal to? 1 on, and then you're left with sine squared times cos squared, which now can become sec squared cosec squared equals right hand side. Easy. Again, I try to hopefully show you the clue, Tiana. The fact that it says multiplied gives me the idea of what to do. Did you work out your 2 business? Your 2. You're like, where did my 2? Okay, cool. All right, everybody else, all good? Anyone have any questions? Are we happy to move on from trig identities? Like I said, any other concepts you guys want me to go through before we continue with our exams? How much probability? Probably 10 marks. If it's full, 10 marks. No, extension 1. Okay, then let's do an exam. We're doing 2012 HSC today. So get your books out for that, right? 2012 HSC, so if you need to go back and study it, you can. All right. Let's have a read. 2012 for here. Okay, 2012, we're going to look at question 2 first. All right, question 2. Oh, all right, easy. Come on. Get the marks. Which of the following is equal to that? Can anyone just see the answer? Well, I can cross out A and C straight away. Now I'm just tossing up between 7 or 17. Because the top has to be 2 root 5 plus root 3. And apparently it's 17. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 take away 3. The answer is D. Yeah? Should have been 20 take away 3. You sure? Not, you know, you just did 2 times 5, which is 10. It should have been 2 times 2, 4. 4 times 5. Again, anyone want me to show that? Don't have room for that. Know that. All good. Move on. What was the next one? I think it was question 2. Gone. 6 and 7. 6 and 7. Okay. Question 6. How to what? Read what thing? Oh, okay, yes. Yep. Question 6 and 7. Solving. Be careful of your all stations to central, and be careful to not inverse a negative. That's all I can say for now. Good luck. Question 7 as well. Did someone get an answer for 6 that they want to check? What do we get? D. Seems like everyone's saying D. Let me know again. If anyone's not able to do it at home, I'll go through it. Yep, I'm happy with D. I'm happy with D. Careful. No negative, right? The negative tells you all stations to central. All right, like I said, anyone want me to go through 6?
Yes, please.
Yes? There we go.
Root 3. That's what it is.
Yep, here we go. Root 3, we will divide it. Please, you guys, you can't be shy. You've got your prelims coming up. 10x equals negative 1 on root 3. Then we never inverse a negative. So we always had it like this. What's inverse tan of 1 on root 3? It is 30 degrees. Then we do our all stations to central. Where is tan negative? Tan is negative in S and C. So that's 180 minus theta, 360 minus theta. So your answer is, for x, 180 take away 30, which is 150, 360 minus 30, which is 330. Then, to get into radian mode, divide by 180 and put a pi. Divide by 180 and put a pi, and hopefully it should give us D. Any questions now of any of the steps I've done? Okay, all good? Number 7. Anyone got this one out? D. C, B, C, B. Anyone at home knows? ln a squared. Let's see. ln a is ex squared. What do you do with a power to a power? Multiply e to x. And then the log and the e cancels out. And what are you left with? Just 2x. So the answer is C. Be careful sometimes at looking at multiple choice answers when you're trying to do your working out, because sometimes you're guided towards a wrong answer. And that's done on purpose. I think last week Rad did the same thing. I think it was Saturday class. So just be careful, you guys. You don't really want to look at the answer too much. All good. Make sense? What I just did there, subbed it in, use my index laws, multiply, log and e cancels out. You're left with 2x. All right. Question 7. What are we up to? Question 11. 11FC. So 11C and 11F. 11C and 11F. 11C and 11F. Oh, you can do D as well for those who have done differentiation of exponentials. So C, D, and F. So cross that out so you guys can look at that. All right, try those three. 6 marks. 2, 4, 6. 11C, D, and F. It just depends. If your school has taught exponential differentiation, then that means yes. If not, then that means next year. Keep going. Have you done exponential differentiation at school? Just read it. Yes. What is it? What is that? I don't know. Okay. Half past 8. Okay. Find the equation of the tangent to this curve at the point where x equals 3. We know the equations of tangents are y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. You don't have a point, you only have one x coordinate, so we need to find the y value. The way you do that is you sub it in, 3 squared, you get a y value of 9. Then we need to find our gradient. Our gradient for curves are the derivatives, 2x, then you sub in 3. So gradient of your tangent is 2 times 3, which is 6, and 4 marks. Y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Like I keep saying, at HSC level, you don't need to expand that. But you guys did, good on you. I'm not going to because we don't need to. For those who have done exponential differentiation at school, which means you will get tested on this, and we will do that. For others who haven't done it at school, you don't need to worry. They'll be done in term 1 next term. So term 4 of term 1 of year 12, sorry. Chain rule, bring the 5 down, keep the bracket the same. Subtract 1 from the power, so that's just normal. Multiply by the derivative of the inside. The derivative of an exponential is always an exponential, and then you have to differentiate the 2x, you put that at the front. And then that's 4 marks, but usually we like to write them together. So 5 times 2 is 10, e 2x bracket 3 plus e2x to the power 4. Again, those who've done exponentials, anyone have any questions about that one? No? That makes sense? F will be in all of your exams. That one was hard. Let's have it. The area of a sector of radius 6 is 50. Find the length. All right, you need your 2 formulas. What's your first formula for? Area is half r squared theta. What's your arc length formula? R theta. So you already have r. You obviously just need theta to find the length. To find theta, it's going to come from up here. So area is 50, correct? Which equals to half times r squared, 36, times theta. And that's it. You just bring everything to other side. So half times 36 is 18, and then 50 divided by 18. What did you say it is? 25 on 9. Probably use that more. And then the answer that we're looking for is 6 times 25 on 9. 50 on 3. Radians, or whatever. No, sorry, in this case, find the length. This would be, yeah, radians, centimeters. So 50 on 3, rad centimeters. Rad radians. But that's okay, you won't lose a mark for that. But just so we know, it's not degrees, that's all. Because theta is in radians, not in degrees for this question. Okay, any questions there? Are they in the formula sheet? I'm not sure. Should you be referring to the formula sheet realistically? No. You shouldn't. You have a formula sheet for economics and legal studies and stuff? Not really. You've got to memorize all your content. So same thing for math. Don't worry about it. Trust me. You're limiting yourself. All right, done. 11F, I think we just did. 11C, we just did. We're up to 13A and 13C. So 13A, 13C. (13A) and 13C. Nice. All right, let's do 13A first. Again, I'll leave it with you guys for a little while. You've got your formula sheets in front of you. Great. Have a look if there's any formulas there. Have a read from the top. Draw it if you like.
Sam,
Yes.
um,
Yep.
am I allowed to like
Wait, I can't hear you very well. Start again.
um mm, I kind of got it, but I'm not sure if it's X before Y.
X before Y. Wait, I'm confused.
Distance formula.
Oh, distance. Sorry. It does. The order doesn't so much matter. You could have put in Y and then X. If you want the distance formula specifically, if that's what you're asking, I'm not sure if you use it for I or not, but just saying, if you want the formula, here you go. It's X's and then
Okay.
Y's. But like I said, the order doesn't matter. You could have put Y's first and then X's.
Okay. Thank you.
You need to find the points first.
I don't know.
Right. Oh. Yeah, sure. Okay. I'll send it to you. Find the points. You got to think of the X and Y intercepts.
Do you have to get forward?
I don't know.
You don't
I don't say that. Yes, it could be like that.
Yeah, that's really.
Never said anything. You just said what's the form like it. Don't worry, you just thinking. His answer is different. Okay. The first thing is obviously, like I said, you need to find your intercepts. So at A, you know that the y value is 0, which means x equals to 4. Sorry, 4 and 0. And then same thing with B. B, you know that the x value is 0, so then you'll just get y is equal to 8. From that, you can probably just see Pythagoras. If you didn't, you could have used x1, y1, x2, y2. It's up to you. Both work the same thing. You should get 64 plus 16, which equals root 80. Is that correct? It is known that AC is equal to 5. So that distance is 5 now. BC is root 65. Calculate the size of angle ABC. So we've got to find this angle here, theta. What are we going to use? Say that again.
Cosine rule.
Cosine rule. Absolutely. You've got three so you've got three sides, you're missing an angle. You have to use the cosine rule. It's for a non-right angle triangle. Good job. I'll pause there. And what you'll see. You should have got, if this is your cosine formula, you should have used 5 as your c squared. So it looks like this. Cos theta opposite. Cos theta is equal to root 80 squared plus root 65 minus 5 squared on, and then don't forget to inverse that. And do we have an answer? 33? 30, so 33 degrees, 41 minutes. So then to the nearest degree, 34. And if you don't write that, you lose a mark. Next one, the point N. N lies on AB such that CN is perpendicular to AB. Oh, okay. You got it out? Find the coordinates of N. Well, what's the key word there? Perpendicular. So what are you thinking? Negative reciprocal gradients. So now you know you've got to find your gradients. I'm just going to leave it for you guys to just write some things down. It's worth 3 marks. Let's see if you guys can at least get 1 mark. So you just said gradients. Maybe you got to do the gradient of something. It's perpendicular.
Sam,
Yes.
for question 2, do you have to square root it?
Square root it. Wait. Square root it?
Yeah.
No, you inverse cos. Because it's cos theta. You're talking about c squared equals a squared, that formula. That one you're going to square root it because it's squared. This one you're going to shift cos. Different formula. You're finding angle. This one you're finding the side.
Oh, okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
It's the angle formula, not the side formula. Yeah. Did you get it out? Did you get 1 mark? You got gradients out of what?
Or then make a line from C down to even alpha equal.
Yeah, that's fine. What do you find? You label it XY. What do you mean? Very, very poor. You're not starting, very poor. At this late towards prelims. You've got to be starting something. The point N, like I said, I gave you guys the clue. The clue should be enough for you guys to at least start. I can see from you guys, I can see you guys are not starting, and that's a problem. Just start. Don't try to do it in your head. It's math. It's meant to be written down. When you write it, you'll be very surprised. There's N. It says CN must be perpendicular to AB. Well, straight away, I know coordinates of N, because it's unknown, it's X and Y. I don't know it. I'm meant to find that out. I know the gradient of AB. The gradient of AB is equal to Y equals negative 2x plus 8. The gradient of AB is negative 2. So therefore the gradient of Cn, this one here, is obviously half. That's 1 mark, at least. You guys not writing that, you're sacrificing a mark on nothing. Then I know that I've got the gradient of this. So y2 minus y1, y2 minus y1 on x2 minus x1. That's the gradient formula. Must equal to a half. Exactly. So now we've got we've got one equation that's relating x and y. I wonder if I could do that. X is 5. Sorry, x is. What was the b value? What was the b value we got up here? What was our b value? 0 and 8. And then this one here was 4 and 0. If x was, no, that wouldn't work. Which means x needs to be.
You said that n is the midpoint, or no?
No, you cannot say n is the midpoint. That's okay. That's all right. What else do we have? What else do we have? It lies on that line. X and Y lies on that line. Oh! So, X and Y lies on this line. 2x plus y equals 8. So that's one equation, because it lies on that
You
line.
make the equations. Oh wait, do you make the equations equal each other?
Yeah, equate them, simultaneous equations. So you've got one equation here, let's cross multiply. 2y take away 8 equals x take away 7. Maybe bring everything to one side if you want. 2y minus x minus 8 plus 7 is minus 1. That's equation 1. Equation 2 is up here. 2x plus y equals 8. And it's pretty much where those two equations meet. So keep it in line. There's your 2x. Y, I'm going to put a y here, plus, and then minus 8. Okay, that's equation number 2. So the hardest thing there was knowing that you've got one simultaneous equation. I hope you guys would have known that. This is x and a y. You need your second one. And that's when I stopped. You saw what, you maybe heard what I said. I said x and y lies on this line, and then it just clicked. Obviously it lies on the line, 2x plus y equals 8, there's your equation. And then I've just rearranged it just so that the y's can match, the x's can match, and everything can match. And you're finished. What am I going to do? I'm going to multiply this one by 2. So I get 2y plus 4x minus 16 equals 0. Subtract these two equations. So 2y take away 2y is gone. Minus x minus 4x is minus 5x. Minus 1 plus 16 is positive 15. So therefore x equals to 3. Sub it back into any of your three equations. So I'm just going to sub it into the first one. 2y, take away 3, take away 1, minus 4, 2, positive 2. X is 3, y is 2. I didn't do anything there that you guys haven't done for breakfast by now. You literally eat this stuff. You're still hesitating because you're trying to do it in your heads. The only time you'll be able to do it in your heads is exactly this time next year. You're not there yet, and you're not meant to be there yet. You're just meant to write it down, fingers crossed. Which one? Say it again. X, 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 X. Okay. Any questions?
One.
Yes.
Why is it 2y minus 8?
Why is it 2y minus 8? 2 times y, 2 times 4.
Okay.
1 times x, 1 times 7. And then I brought everything to one side. Same thing with this guy. It says 2x plus y equals to 8. There's your y. There's your plus 2x and minus the 8. I just kept everything in line. Any other questions? Right, next one. What was that? Else 13a. We needed C now. All right. When you see 1 mark for probability, you're very happy. It's meant to be easy. So just read it carefully. Try your best. BS if you have to. You'll probably be right. It's just year 9, year 10 probability. Sorry? Missed that. What was that? No. 2 buckets, each contain red and white. Bucket A contains 3 red and 2 white. Bucket B contains 3 red and 4 white. Chris randomly chooses 1 marble from each bucket. What is probably that both marbles are red? Pretty easy. What is probably that at least one of the marbles is white? Easy. What is probably that both marbles are the same color? Seems easy to me. If you just run through your cases, it should not be hard. I don't think you need to think like that again. You're not replacing. You're just picking out red here and red here. That's it. Okay, my turn. 2 buckets. 3 red, 2 white. 3 red, 4 white. You're choosing 1 marble from each bucket. What is probably that both marbles are red? For you to get a red in the first one, it is 3 out of 5. And you need a red in the next one, which is 3 out of 7. What is the probability that at least one of the marbles is white? At least one. Well, instead of doing, red and then white, white and then red and then white and white, you should do 1 minus probability of red and red. So not getting any whites. So that you could have done, which is just 1 minus our answer in I. Or you could have done red, white, plus white, red, plus white, white. But why would you want to do the 3 cases? What is the probability that both marbles are the same color? So essentially that means, why is that one worth 2 marks? Whatever, sorry? Just means red, red, plus, yeah, red, red, plus white, white. Red, red you've already done. Plus, see how easy the HSE is? White, white. 2 out of 5 times 4 out of 7. HSE is not my problem. It's the one before your HSE that's my problem. Trial HSE. That one's hard. Hard. Why? It's your first time to review everything. It's set for your school. So school exams are usually harder than the state exams. State, everyone's going to do well. It's a common exam. That's the idea. The HSE, for all your exams, you probably find the easiest. It's your school ones that you're not going to find easy. All right. All good? Anyone want to tell us the answer for I, double I, and triple I, just so we can have answers? 17 over 20? 35. This one would be, what was the answer for all of them?
I got 9 over 35 for 1.
For the first one, 9 out of
26
35.
over 35 for 2.
26 on 35, and then
And then
triple I.
17 over 30.
Thank you. Just so everyone's got an answer for those. There it is. Easy. 11C done as well. Good work. Again, just by doing these questions, you start to realize what your strong points are, what your weak points are as well. What are we up to? 14? 14C. And then we're up to the replacement ones. All right, 14C. Oh yeah. Common question, 100% will be in all of your exams. Exponential growth and decay.
So another question can we get to later?
Yes. Have it ready? Yeah, have it ready.
Which really just did, Oh, sorry.
Good question. Right. Okay.
Shift. So, shift. It's the other, yeah, and then just other. So.
Happy birthday.
Oh, it's on my mate's house since his birthday. So, yeah.
Okay, let's start with maybe I. Professor Smith has a colony of bacteria initially, which means time equals 0. There are 1,000 bacteria. Yep, so n equals 1,000, blah, 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 which is all stock standard. After 20 minutes, so when t equals 20, bacteria is 2,000. Show that k is this. Okay, when t is 20, n is 2,000. So 2,000 equals 1,000, e, k, and then t is 20. So I usually put that at the front, e 20k. Are we used to solving for k by now? Divide by 1,000.
Yeah.
Log both sides. And then divide by 20. Should give you that. Correct? How many bacteria, what letter are you finding? N. Yeah, N of T. But N, are there when T is 120? Very easy. N equals 1,000. E. K 0.0347. 120. But you can write that, you don't use that. I've said that a few times now. We use the unrounded answer. So, what's your answer? 64,000? On the dot? Wow. When it's not rounded, on the dot 64,000, there you go. Whereas if it was rounded, you might get, just for our curiosity,
You get 64,328.
yeah, so you got an extra 300 out of nowhere. 28, yeah. So, all good? Sure? Okay. I mean, you're like, triple I. All right, what is the rate of change of the number of bacteria per minute when T is 120? What does rates mean?
Differentiate.
Yes, we all know it now. Rate means differentiate. So, differentiate it. What is the derivative of the exponential? Again, it's still an exponential, so it's still itself times by the derivative of the power, which is going to be k. And then, I think you already know this is 1,000 e. Yeah, this will just be 64,000 times k. That's what should happen. But if you didn't do it, you would have just subbed in t is 120. Again, your k is whatever it is. 0.0120 times 0.0347. Again, what's the answer for this one now? 1,000, so 64,000 times log 2 on 20. 2218 per minute. So 2,218 bacteria per minute. Any questions? How long does it take for the number of bacteria to increase from 1,000 to 100,000? Well, 1,000 is obviously when time is 0. So it's pretty much trying to say, find the time it takes for it to get to 100,000. And then you would just say that's the time, I guess. 100,000. All right, here we go. So n is equal to 100,000 equals to 1,000 e k t. K you already know, like I keep saying. It's not 0.0347. We just write that. But we'll use the unrounded answer. So divide by 1,000. Log both sides. Divide by this. Are you used to that by now? Log 100 on log 2 divided by 20. Okay, I got, how long does it take? 133. You have to round up. 133 minutes. T equals 133 minutes. You can't round down because then you wouldn't reach 100,000. Any questions? All good. If you tried this number, 0.0, let's just again see what happens. So our curiosity gives you 133 still. So you wouldn't have, it wouldn't have made a difference for that question, which is good. Okay, that's done. Let's try the replacement questions now. All right, so go down to replacements. Technically can be asked. I don't know why they didn't say that one. Maybe it's too hard for year 11 just right now, but that can be it. That one can be asked. But hold on, let's just do these replacement questions. All right, we're going to do question 1 and question 3 first. So question 1 and question 3. All right, question 1 and question 3. Both of them are right there. Which of these is not a one-to-one function? Let me have a look as well. I got my answer. One-to-one. One x value is only allowed for one y value. So obviously the cubic is one x value for one y value. The exponential shifted up is still one x value for one y value. Square root x minus 2, that just looks like this. Square root, so sideways parabola. So that is one-to-one. This one here is not one-to-one. Why? Anyone know why? Say it again. X squared, if I factorize it out, x plus 2. You guys know that this one here is bouncy. The fact that it's bouncy, I'll do this. Technically, that's the answer to that drawn. And you can see here there are a few different y values that are the same, or different x values. So this is not a one-to-one. Do you guys remember the rule for one-to-one or one-to-many or many-to-one? Can you tell us?
Yeah.
So, hold on.
Vertical line test.
Say it again. Vertical line?
Vertical line test.
For what? Vertical line test would be.
One-to-one.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to work out. So vertical line, is that one? Okay. You don't know it, Eden? I think you're saying it right. Horizontal line test. So you've got both. The way it worked was if you draw a vertical line and if it only touches once, like it's doing now, then that's fine. Hold on, we'll come back to that. If you're drawing a horizontal line, you've got two different x values for the same y value. That's a many-to-one. So pretty much, if it's a horizontal, it's for your x's. Horizontal is for your x's. Vertical is for my y's. The horizontal x's, verticals are y's, which makes sense because vertical is usually y, horizontal is usually x's. So if I was to draw it this way, right, something like that. Again, if you draw a horizontal line, it only touches once, so that would be a 1. But if I draw vertical lines, you can see I can touch it many times, so that'll be 1, 2, many. Make sense? And if I obviously draw a, last one, a circle, many there, and many there. So that'll be a many to many, many, many to many. Sounds good? And then the ones up here, as you guys can see, they're all going to be 1 to 1 because you can only draw it at any vertical point or horizontal point and it's only touching once. All right, number 3. That was a nice revision because that was what, week 1 or week 2 of term 1. So a long time ago. Question 3. Which of these is the exact value of that? Just plug it into your calculator, right? Pi is 180 though. You got it out already? What's your answer? 1, 2, root 2. So B? Yep. How'd you do it? The long way?
No, it's just multiple. I don't know what to.
I just plugged it into my calculator. Who would know? So what I did, for you guys to know, I plugged this in, it gave me 0.207. I just went and found which one is that. It's B. Who said I can't do that? It's a multiple choice. I should do that. But if you want to do it the proper way, if it wasn't a multiple choice, cos 45 is 1 on root 2. Cos 120 is negative a half, and then cross multiply. So 2 times 1 is 2, minus 1 times root 2, 1, 2 root 2. The answer is B. Cool. Those ones are done. We're up to 11E, B, and 16C. I thought so. Anyways, 11B. Oh wait, A can be asked. I think I did a mistake there. A should have been. Yep, A. Let me have a quick read of B. Oh, B, A, B, and C. All three. Oh, sorry, A, B, and E. All right, A, B, and E. All three are a fair game. So I think you guys would probably get A out, hopefully E. Some of you might just get scared of the words in B. Otherwise, if you remember what we did last week, inversely proportional. Second time out. Sandra, I can see you're still thinking. You don't need to think, just trust me, right there you go. Pen to paper, it'll come to you as you write. You'll be very surprised. G of f of x. That means substitute your f into your g. Substitute your f function into your g function. just so you guys maybe remember how to do this, g of x is obviously 4x on x plus 2. When you say g of f of x, it means substitute f of x every time you see x. So in other words, it looks something like this. 4 f of x on f of x plus 2. See that? Exactly the same. But what does f of x equal to?
X squared minus 3.
Yeah, and that's it. X squared minus 3 plus 2. Expand, and you're done. X squared minus 1. So again, g of x is this. G of anything else, you substitute that for x. So f of x on f of x plus 2. Substitute f of x again for x squared minus 3, and you should end up with that. The next one's very easy, sub in negative 2. So for double I, can someone give me the answer when you sub in negative 2? 4 times 3 is 12. Really? 4 times 4 is 16. 4 on? Yeah, 4 on 3. Alright, awkward. Any questions for A? You got 8 for B? I don't know. 8. We have an answer apparently. Maybe 8. I'm not sure.
Oh, we will be.
Yeah, try B and then try E. Sure. I don't know. I really don't know. I'll leave it on the side. 8. Try E.
I forgot what inversely proportional is.
Inverse. Can anyone help us out? Proportion. Inverse. Tiana? We can. No, yeah. What's the formula though? Maybe you're right. That's no. Inverse. Is it multiplied or divided? You have to take a guess. Divide. And then because you're not sure if it's twice bigger or 3 times bigger, it's proportional. Proportional means it's a number that we're not sure. It's multiplied by a constant. So it'll look something like this. K on. That's what inverse proportional means. So now let me see. The time to prepare a paddock for planting is inversely proportional to the number of people who are working. So the time is equal to K on people and number, whatever, doesn't matter. That's the formula you'll need. Maybe it becomes 8, I'm not sure, like I said. A large paddock can be prepared by 3 workers in 16 days. In order to finish the paddock sooner, the farmer plans to hire additional workers. How many workers are needed to finish the paddock in 6 days? I think the answer's going to be quite. Let's have a look. So obviously, you always find what letter? K. You need to find K first. So 3 workers, 16 days. 3 workers, let's just do it here. 3 workers, 16 days. 16 equals K on 3. So K equals to? Once you have that, you have your new equation that can relate workers and time. Done. So it's saying how many workers are needed to finish the paddock in 6 days. If you needed the paddock done in 6 days, T equals to 6. And of course, P equals to? Yeah. Good work, Tiana. E. Find the value of K. Wait, any questions on B? Otherwise, start E. Find the value of K for which this equation has exactly 1 solution. That's okay. You just start. That's the way you start.
right?
Say it again.
Doing the, what we need
What's the way you would usually start with a question like this?
right now.
Fair enough. And then what would be your next line then?
Just do it
Nope. But I think that's going to be required.
for one solution.
Yeah, I think so. You gave that answer right. So good job for realizing that. But still, that's not your first step after that. How would you do such questions? What do you mean by that?
So
Common
instead
what?
of 4x squared to the power.
Yeah, common bases. Your bases must be the same. That's the way you do these questions, right? Exponential equations. So 2 to the kx minus 8. 4 is 2 squared to the power of x squared. You understand? You have to make the bases the same. Once your bases are the same, I'm just going to make this look a little bit better. Power, we multiply. And then, obviously, this equals to that right there. So kx take away 8 equals 2x squared. And then this stage, you're probably very confused on finding k, but you guys can see it's a quadratic. And the question said it has exactly one solution. That automatically means the discriminant equals to 0, and that's what you have to use. So that's a bit of an advanced question. B squared minus 4 times A times C. K squared minus 8 times 8 is 64. So as long as K is plus or minus 8, you will always get this equal to this, and you will only have one solution. Great question. So they're related, as you can see, they're related exponential equations with quadratic discriminants. Completely allowed. Yeah, very important, that first step. You've got to make sure the bases are the same. All right, any questions? All right, let's see what else we're up to. That's done. 11E, 16C, last one for 2012. Oh. No, that's not for you guys. But I thought 16C was allowed. So hold on. God, I think they've done it wrong. There. That one's technically allowed, even though it's probably harder than you might get right now. Let's see if we can finish it off with this. I don't think you should stress too much about this. If you do get it, fantastic. At least we're going to do it. But it's not something that you've got to be worried about. This is the end of the paper. End of the paper meaning very, very hard. Cool. So let's just see what to do. The circle lies inside the parabola. The circle touches the parabola exactly 2 points, located symmetrically on opposite sides of the y-axis. And we can see that there and there. And it just says, go, show. Doesn't tell you what to do. They're not meant to tell you what to do. You're just meant to start thinking about what you would usually do. So let me also think while I'm trying to explain this. Okay, what do I know? I know the radius of my circle is R. I know my radius of my circle is R. I know that these two have to be equal to each other for them to touch. So I might just start with that first. For them to touch each other, I know that these two must equal to each other, right? Simultaneous equations. When something touches, you solve them. So y is x squared. I'm going to substitute it for x squared here. So I get y plus y minus c squared equals r squared. bring everything to one side, I get y minus c squared plus y minus r squared equals 0. At this stage, I would expand. Hey, just so you guys know, it could be wrong, right? This is part of it. That's how these work. So y squared minus 2yc plus c squared plus y minus r squared equals 0. Then collect my like terms. So y squared is by itself. Y minus 2yc plus y. So minus 2yc plus y plus c squared minus r squared equals 0. Can you guys see something there? That's a, yeah, it's a quadratic, isn't it? That's y squared. There's your y's and there's your constants. So let me rewrite it the way you guys are probably used to it. So y squared plus, factorize your y out. You're left with negative 2c plus 1. Plus, and then your constant, c squared minus r squared equals 0. And then from there, and then what? Anyone have any ideas? I think if they are to meet, then can you guys see, I don't have a y down here. So I know I can't have y's. The only formula that I could solve a quadratic that won't include my actual pronumeral is the formula we just used, the discriminant. So if I did delta equals b squared minus 4 times a times c equals 0, expand 4c squared minus 4c plus 1 minus 4c squared plus 4r squared equals 0. 4c squared cancels. I did it, didn't I? Minus 4c. Well, just bring the 4c to the right hand side. 1 plus 4r squared equals 4c. See? So what did I do? I just went, I don't know, let's try simultaneous equations. They touch each other. So let's start that. Then I'm like, let's expand. Then obviously I am used to knowing that if I've got an equation with y's or x's or anything like that, and it's asking me to show something that doesn't have x's or y's, I know it's discriminant. Otherwise, this gives it out. Touches exactly, and then 2 points, 1 point doesn't matter. The fact that they touch, you means the discriminant equals to 0. You're going to get some solutions, and they're the same solution. That's why you make it equal to 0, and it just works out. The last one, deduce that c is greater than 1/2. That one's going to be fun. Let's just end it with, I don't know, and we'll leave it at that for today, before I confuse you. Because you probably, to deduce that the c is greater than 1/2. I'm guessing we would have to use the distance formula now. So we found a relationship between r and c. You have to use a distance formula. Nope. Hold on. That's r. I had to take a guess. Okay. We know that from here to here it's r. I know that whole thing is c. Therefore, that's r. They're symmetrical. L equals to r theta. No, that's not going to work. How am I going to get an inequality? Somehow the discriminant's got to be greater than 0. Somehow, something's got to be greater than 0. Something has to be greater than 0. You know, r is greater than 0. That doesn't help. Yeah, leave double life for now. I can't think of it like right now. So we'll leave it at that. If you get it, I'll do it next week anyway, so don't stress. I'll get it out. If you want to find the answer, just go to 2012 HSC. I'm sure you'll be able to see whatever the answer is. If you've got questions, stay back. Otherwise, continue with your exams. I'll see you next week.